Hello, and welcome back to the AP Laser Workshop. Thank you for joining Alicia and myself. Today we're going to be doing what I'm going to, it's a technical workshop. So we're going to start doing some of these workshops where we're doing something tech-based or mechanical-based, where we're working, maintenance on the machine or setup with some things. And today we're going to do specifically, networking the machine. So when it comes to networking the machine, there's a few ways we can do it. And the things I'm going to cover today are going to be very basic: how to configure your laser to be networked, how to find the information you need to do that, and then ultimately how to connect to the machine from RDWorks and Lightburn. And a little bit of surprise kind of to everybody is I'm also going to demonstrate wireless connectivity, but also I'm going to demonstrate how to use an app on your iPhone called RD Labs to allow you to remotely control the laser. It's not going to let you load files and stuff, but it's going to allow you to use your phone as a control panel, and this might prove to be beneficial to some of you lowrider owners and users, because sometimes you just don't want to bend over. Am I right? So anyways, Alicia's going to be here to help me with some things as we set things up. But Alicia, do you think it would be beneficial to be able to use the laser without having to have your computer just directly attached to the laser?
Yes, absolutely. I know having the cord around, it's easy to trip over. You can move things around. Specifically, we had that super long one. It just looked gross around it, so I'm up for anything wireless.
Right. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to remotely load files and stuff to the laser. But I want to say, when we do this stuff remotely, we want to exercise extreme caution. Mm-hmm. Okay, if we're going to be working from another room, we want to make sure that we're not doing anything that can push start or actually manipulate the laser motion or the laser firing without being physically at the laser. Just a lot of safety concerns there. You may think in your mind, oh, everything's good to go, but if you can't see the machine, then something might be happening that you can't see. Whether it be somebody working in the machine or change something in the machine, put something big in the machine, so now when the laser head moves, it's going to whack that whatever object it is. So we just want to make sure that while we may be able to do things remotely from a different desk in the vicinity or somewhere else on the network, we don't want to operate the actions of the machine remotely. We always want to do that hands-on. A couple more disclosures or things I want to bring up is when I get into the wireless portion of it, the wireless capability that I'm going to demonstrate, going wireless is not supported by our technical support team. So when you do that, you're going to have a little bit of knowledge of a network or somebody who can help you with that. But we do not want to, but our tech support team will not be able to assist you with doing anything wirelessly because every network is a little bit different, and not every network will be compatible with that feature when I get to it. So I'm going to start. The first thing we need to do when setting up the network or the machine to be networked is we have to know our network structure. Okay. Some of you have set up your own network. Some of you have just let the installer technician from whatever cable company or ISP you use or internet service provider use set it up for you, and so you have no idea what your structure may be. Mm-hmm. Maybe a default setting. So either way, we want to first find out what is our IP structure. Okay, an IP structure is an addressing used by the network. I don't want to go too deep into the principles behind network addressing and IPv4 and 6 and everything like that. So I'm just going to tell you that we need to get an address number, and we can find the structure from our computer. Okay, because the structures, we're going to want to match those. I'm going to use Alicia's computer here because she has a Windows computer.
I'll be your
Yep,
prop
so-
for today.
Here on Alicia's computer, the first thing we can do is I'm going to go ahead and do this and start a new window. We want to hit Windows R and open a command prompt by typing CMD in that window. Or we can go to Start and we can just start typing command prompt and it'll bring up command prompt and I can click on Open right here to open a command prompt. From here, all we're going to do is we're going to use this to help us identify what our current network settings are that are as they are on this computer. So I'm going to type IP config/all. That's IP CONFIG
I was gonna say I think we might be missing
Space.
something, but I don't know.
dash ALL for all, and then we're going to hit enter. Now this is going to bring back several pieces of information, but what we're ultimately looking for is the IP address as it's found on our however we're connected. If it's our wireless adapter or our LAN adapter, we are connected on a wireless connection right now, which is Wi-Fi network, and our address is 10.2.0.145. So we can see from this that our structure is actually going to be a 10.2.0. something. Now the dot something is very important because we cannot duplicate this number. So you'll want to know what numbers you would want to have available. So for example, if I wanted to do this as a 10.2.0.1, we're probably not going to do that because that's typically a gateway. Now the options are going to be one, for most networks, are going to be 1 to 255 for this number, 254. But whenever we choose a number, we're going to want to use something that's probably not going to be commonly assigned, like a higher number, unless you have control over the addresses being issued in your computer or in your network. And we also want to test to make sure it's not already taken. So, for example, if I wanted to use an address of 10.2.0.100, I would ping that number by typing ping in the command prompt and then the address that I'm looking for. And if I hit return, if it gives me replies from that address, I know that address is in use. Okay? What I recommend for most people is to use something like a 10.2.0.245 because that's rarely used. Whoops, I'm sorry, you got to type ping in there, don't you? Ping.245
There we
and
go.
hit enter. Okay, it's bringing back nothing here. I see that it's timing out or destination host unreachable, so it's likely that address is not assigned. From there, I can decide on my structure and IP address. Now, your network is probably going to be a 192.168.1.1 through 1255. So that is, that's most common, a similar format, but you'll find that format in your computer. Now, the control panel will come with a default IP address of 192.168.1.100. But we want to change that to something we know is going to be good. For my network, I've already configured a reservation address on my network to know that it won't be
saying that the audio has cut out potentially. Okay, are we good? Can we get a confirmation in chat? Are we all good? We don't want to lose you. This is important information. Okay, I think we're just going to move ahead.
Okay, we're
if
gonna
you have
move
any
ahead.
issues, please just type in the chat, let us know, and we'll get it fixed for you. But thank you for letting us know.
I will go back just to here. Now I'm going to hit escape, and how I got here from the main screen was to go to ZU, and then use the arrows to go to IP config and hit enter. And then in this address down here, I manipulate each spot number. So in each box, there's going to be 3 spaces that are independently adjustable with the up and down arrow. And the address I have landed on is 10.2.0.25, but I've assigned that on my network. If you do not know what your default, we already covered how you should find your default structure. The gateway, I have found, I haven't messed with that. I haven't touched that, and everything seems to work fine. We don't need this thing on the internet, so I'm not going to assign it to the gateway of my internet device. It works so far in all the years I've done this flawlessly, just using an address that's on my network, and then I hit enter. And then I escape to the main screen from there. Then I can come back to my computer. Now that I've got my IP address configured in my Lazer, sometimes it is a good idea to turn off the machine and then turn it back on.
A good IT trick.
Just so you know that it's sending whatever network controller you have, your router, the information it needs, that its IP address has changed. Now, back in the computer, we're going to do this in a couple different ways. First, I'm going to show you how to set this up on RDWorks. So I've opened RDWorks here. And down on the bottom right, there is this device box. We click Setting here, and it allows us to add a new device. By default, it's going to have the USB auto on there because we always connect with USB initially, correct? So we're just going to add a device, and I'm going to name this device. I'm going to go ahead and call it 4836N for network, okay? Now, the reason you name it, if you might have different names, if you have we have some customers that have multiple 4836s. And what they will do is they'll give each 4836 its own unique name. So they might put they might put Claude or Clifford or Smokey or whatever they want to name it, and then they put signs in their machine so they can quickly identify it and know which machine they're working back and forth. Because yes, that's one of the other advantages of networking is you can control multiple machines from one computer. We have one of our customers that has a large amount of our machines called Wild Gear has this set up. They use a couple different computers, 2 computers, but that's mainly because they have like 8 machines, I think, 7 or 8 machines, and they're all running nonstop at the same time. So they have their Lazer operators have to be able to access files to load different files and get things ready to go. Anyways,
can I interrupt you just super
Sure.
quick for a quick question in the chat? Serge put in the chat, he just wanted to know if all of our lasers have this Wi-Fi capability.
Okay, so to be clear, this is networking capability. It's not Wi-Fi. The difference being is this has to be hardwired. I need to step backward, so thank you. I skipped a step. So what I have is into the side of the machine here, we have an Ethernet port. Right over here, this Ethernet port, you all know where it's at. It's right by the USB line. Okay. I have a Cat 5 or Cat 6 Ethernet cable that is plugged into that port. It has to be hardwired into my router. Okay. I will cover a wireless accessibility later, but the most important thing is that has to be hardwired by Ethernet, which makes it a LAN connection, not a wireless connection. So that's a great question. The lasers don't actually have Wi-Fi capability, but you can connect them with a Ethernet cable to a line from your router. Now,
Gotcha.
if your router's not close to your machine, there are ways that you can get really long Ethernet cables, but if that's not convenient, I will cover, after I cover this, way to connect using a Wi-Fi extender. Again, that won't be supported by our tech support team, but it is fairly simple, and I'm confident that most of you would be able to do that. So anyways, back to the adding the machine. Once I've clicked add, I get this window that gives me port settings. So the machine name, I'm just calling this one 4836N. For the web address, I'm actually going to use 10.2.0.25 because that is the address of my network. I'm sorry, of the AP Lazer on the network. And then I'll click the test button. It'll give me a port test success. If you don't get that, then we need to find out, we need to backtrack our steps and see where we've missed something. And then click OK, and then OK. Now I want to check box this as my default machine here, and then click exit. And then down here you see if it doesn't change, you can have a drop down.
Okay.
And as many devices as you add to this software, if you have a 4024N or a 2616 or a 2816 or even if you have a 3024 that's still hanging around out there, some of those. They will all show up in that drop down if you have added them with their own unique addresses.
Okay.
Each machine and device will have to have its own unique address that is not assignable to other machines on the network or to other devices on your network.
So
Sorry.
that's good to know. That's just like you should always check that you're running the right files, that you're set the framing right on your machine. Always make sure if you're doing this that you're connected to the right machine to make sure you're good to go.
Yes, that's also a really good point too. Like Alicia said, you always want to verify. And when you're doing this, if you have multiple machines, you always want to go to that machine and pull up the file menu and make sure that you send it to the right machine. So like Alicia said, we always want to double check kind of everything we're working with. But now I can load a file, I can connect machine, or I'm sorry, I can design, I'm just going to use a box in this instance, and I'm going to just use some default settings here, but just to show you, I can click download. I'm going to leave it unnamed, and then, actually no, I'm going to call it box.
There we go.
And then click OK, and it's going to send in the machine. And just like that, it's downloading the machine, but there's no wire going to it. When it is in this position, even if there are manual, or when you're in this setup using a LAN connection or network connection, you don't want to start manually moving the Lazer around just because you can. You still want to do all that in person. The same thing with starting a job or stopping a job. It's always best if you can control it right from the Lazer control panel. Now I want to show you how to do this in Lightburn because it's similar. I want to pull up Lightburn right here. Latest versions on 1.4, but this the capabilities of this goes back pretty much to the beginning of Lightburn, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to, same thing down here, I'm going to click Devices. And I'm going to click on I'm going to click on Create Manually. Sorry. And then I'm going to scroll down and find Ruida. And then click Next. And then I'm going to use Ethernet UDP and click Next. And the address of the device, I'm going to type in 10.2.0.25.
Okay, so the setup's basically the same. That makes it easy.
Yes, basically
Cool.
the same. And then I can name it right here. Same thing, 4836N for network. And we'll put in our sizing right here, 48 by 36. And then click Next. Rear left. Unless you have one of our older models of AP Lazer, which some of them are still out there. Almost all of our machines will home in the rear left. You want to make sure that the origin of the laser is actually where it homes to. So when it starts up, it automatically homes, or if you push home or reset, then it goes to the top left corner. We want to make sure we have that setting in here that matches that. And then click next. And then that's it. You're done. Here's your summary. Then click finish.
And there
And
it
then
is.
click OK.
Cool.
Then over here, we will have to go down and select our 4836N. And then when we select that, right down here in the bottom of the screen, it'll say found RDC 644XS. It is also the same thing if we were to use a Mac. Okay, I have a Mac and I can use Lightburn for Mac because they do make Lightburn for Mac, so I can control my laser from my Mac. It's the same feature. I was going to switch over to show you the Mac, but there's really no point because it's in Lightburn. It's the same setup steps as it is in on the Windows Lightburn. That is all very cut and dry because if we have immediate access to our router, it's very basic steps. And again, our tech support team will not support you with your network. They're not going to be able to help you configure your network because they are laser techs. While some of them may have some IT education and experience, and most of them do, we won't take the responsibility of managing and potentially messing up your network. You would have to have staff help you with that. As it comes to finding the information and helping, I'm sure they'll be able to assist, but all the information is also right here on this video. So I do recommend watching this a few times and piecing together if I maybe broke some things up. But now I want to move on to showing you, well, what do I do if I have Wi-Fi perfect in my garage, or I have Wi-Fi perfect in the shop, but I don't have an Ethernet drop there, and I don't have a practical way of getting an Ethernet drop there. Well, they make devices called Wi-Fi extenders. And ironically enough, or coincidentally, I should say, that is what I am using in hand here.
A little hard to see.
For this machine. It's a little hard to see. But right here is a Wi-Fi extender. I'm using a Linksys RE6400. There are many models of Wi-Fi extenders on the market. Most of them should work with what you're trying to do. But if you see what I did is after I set up my Wi-Fi extender to extend my Wi-Fi, which each device has its own instructions, which is another reason we won't support that. Once you have your Wi-Fi extender set up and you're successfully connect to it with other devices to see that it is working, then we just plug the Ethernet cable into that as if it were our primary router, and we're able to do all the steps we just did. Again, it's not a huge undertaking or task. All these devices come with very simple instructions on how to set those up. And again, I must have to reinforce that our tech support team is not going to support your wireless setup. Okay, that's really something that you will need to employ either your knowledge or an IT professional, or if you're in a business that has an IT manager or specialist, you want to consult your IT department to assist you with this because they may have some things set up to be able to make this simpler for you. And of course, you can always show them this video. So they know what they're doing with networks, but just to put it all together with the AP Lazer, that'd be really easy. There is another step that this is a feature that I found a long time ago that I'm really finding now would be a really fantastic way to use to control your laser if you are using a lowrider, okay? It basically will allow us, once our machine is networked, to use our Wi-Fi connected cell phone on the same network as a remote control with a laser. The app is called Ruida ACS, and I know for sure it is found on the Apple App Store. I do not know if it's on Google Play. It may be on the Android market as well. I'm pretty sure it probably is. But once you download the app,
You said that
Once you've downloaded the app,
You said that was ACS?
Ruida ACS, and that's RUIDA space ACS.
Perfect.
I actually found mine just by doing a search for Ruida, RUIDA. But I put the phone up here by my control panel so I can show you on the camera here.
There we go.
So here's the app right here. It's called Ruida ACS. We click on that, and it's going to open this up. And then we click enter. And I've already added this. I'm going to delete it. Okay, on this screen here, there's going to be add devices. So I'm going to click on add devices. And then I'm going to click on my device name. I'm just going to call it, again, notice a pattern here, 4836 N for network, not N. N for networking. And then I'm going to put in the IP address, 10.2.0.25, and then submit. It says device added successfully. Now, once I've added that, it will show me this on the screen right here. Under devices, I click on that, and it connects, and it shows login successful.
That's a pretty complicated looking
Now,
screen.
This is a pretty complicated looking screen, yes. What we're looking at here is there you're going to have start, stop, start, pause, stop, reset. All the same as it will be on your control panel. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then we're going to have trace, escape, laser gate. Okay, so if I click trace, maybe not. Well, we'll have to play with that one some more. There's escape, okay. Laser gate. I think that's actually to pulse the laser. Nope, there's pulse. Sorry. So, trace on and off and laser gate, I'm not sure yet what we're doing there. That's on me because I haven't really had time to explore those options. I typically only use the ones I need. I move the laser because now imagine a low rider. This is all the way down the floor. I either got to get down on my hands and knees and move it around, or I get my focus, right? And then, because with the Z here, I can Z up and Z down.
You can see the camera moving there. That's pretty cool.
I can move my Y, so I can get this in position where I want to start, and move my X.
Move your phone up a little bit. You can't really see the bottom.
Oh, okay, I see. So down here, I have these controls down here. So there's Y up and down here, X left and right. Okay, and then I can control some speed from here, but I really want to leave that with the file. Mm-hmm. The speed, actually the speed I think I can adjust. Nope. Anyways, and then I can also click origin. So that will give me my origin. And if I hit reset, oh, never mind, that's going to restart the device. Leave the reset alone. Anyways, this will allow you, mainly the features of this is it's going to allow you to manually control the laser left, right, and even move the laser up and down when you're up and down, because might be hard to reach the control panel from where you're at. But again, this is just, all this app is going to do is make a little control panel. It's not really designed you can start it from here, but the main thing is just to make things a little bit easier. This is from Ruida. So again, if you're having problems with this app, unfortunately our tech support department is not going to be able to really support you on it, because it is not something that we have any access to any behind the scenes or scripting on. We might be able to give you some assistance on, oh, you have to enter the IP address of the machine. But at this point, if we go back and watch a video, we should know what IP address we need to enter in there to make it connect. The only thing I have seen is sometimes it has, sometimes it's been a conflict because Lightburn likes to take the drivers over, but you'll see that I still have control from Lightburn as well.
That's
So-
good to know. It's not going to
Right.
kidnap your machine,
right.
you still have access wherever you need it.
Because a lot of you know that RDWorks and Lightburn, if you have both on your computer, they don't play well together. If you have one open, you shouldn't have the other open. And if you do open the one, sometimes you have to close everything out and maybe even restart the machine to be able to reconnect again. But again, this is all networking stuff. It really does make it very easy to operate the machine because other than our cameras on our machine and the power going into it, now I don't have to worry about being tethered to the Lazer. I don't have to mount the computer to the Lazer. I can keep the computer at a desk on the other side of the room or in my office where it's nice and cool because the garage is hot or the warehouse is hot because they don't like us out here in the warehouse, but we have to work out there anyways. I'm joking. Our warehouse that we're in now, the new warehouse, is all fully insulated and climate controlled. It's very nice warehouse here. So to recap again, I covered how to set up find your IP structure using your computer, set up the Lazer with a unique IP address, and then plugging in the Lazer to a LAN network, and then
getting to use that
getting
remote
back,
control
sorry.
app.
Using the computer and then going back to the computer and setting up the computer to add the device, and then using the app both in RDWorks and Lightburn, and the remote app for your phone. I see somebody looked it up, and Android might be older. I don't know enough about Android to really be able to know if the versions keep up. But I know the one on the app from the App Store I've had installed for a long time, and I'm still using it on the latest iOS. So again, and it's not an absolute must that you have that app. If I can't guarantee that they're going to keep up with development of it. I feel that they will, for the most part. But again, are there any questions? We have a little bit of time here. If anybody has any questions, if there's anything you want me to cover again, this would be a good time. I have time to go back and cover anything again and revisit while we're on the shoot here on the live.
If we cut out and we lost anything when that audio went out for a minute and there's some details that might be hazy, let us know. We can go back on that as well. I know this is a lot of information. Super excited to get to use this capability, but I'll probably have to go back and rewatch this video myself.
Right, and again, this video is going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be ultimately it'll wind up in our AP Lazer University as well. And the biggest thing is I know I throw a lot of information. I know networking for me is a second language because it's also what I do for our company here, and so I know some things come very easy, and so for some people it's a foreign language. If you feel overwhelmed, you can shoot me an email at aplazerlive@aplazer.com, and I might be able to answer some quick questions. I might be able to call you back or have somebody else call you back to help you get set up with the networking if you're having trouble with it, or if you just need some holes patched. Again, the steps should be first things first. In order to network the AP Lazer, you got to plug in an Ethernet cable to it, either directly to your router or using a Wi-Fi extender. Once we've done that, then we can find our IP address and through our computer using the command prompt. If you use a Mac, you can find your IP address by going to ifconfig-a. That's on Mac. That's ifconfig -a. And then again for Windows, it's ipconfig /all. The difference is there's a couple minor differences. And then once we have our network structure, we give a unique IP address to each device that we're going to add, the device being the AP Lazer. And once we have that configured through the control panel, then we can come back and add the device through our RDWorks or Lightburn. And then we can also add that device through the mobile app if we have access to the mobile app. And again, the phone will have to be on the same network that is connected, whether it be through Wi-Fi. You would have to be on the same network that your machine is by connecting through Wi-Fi. So I know that this is really hard content to make exciting. All my best networking is with cables. That's why I don't have very many friends. But no, I'm joking. I have a ton of friends, and most of them are all family to me. But so again, I know things can be overwhelming. Ruida, thank you, Serge, or Serge. Ruida RMA for Android. Ruida RMA for Android.
Good to know.
And if there's nothing else, no further questions. Again, if something comes up that you're thinking about, shoot an email to aplaserlive@aplaser.com. I did not know that they were charging for that.
Apparently there is a fee for that app, at least on Android. But it's not something you need. So if it's not worth it to you, it's not worth it to you. It's just a fun little thing you can do I think, it's good to have that accessibility when you need it, but that's good to know.
It is good to know because, again, I found...
And there could be possibly different versions out there for Android. Like we said, we haven't gotten much into that. I know I'm an Apple person as well, so...
Well, I'm not trying to make an argument. I'm not trying to make an argument for Apple, but let me just make sure that. Sorry, I'm hijacking
Oh, you're fine.
Alicia's phone over here.
Well, while we have the time as well, I want to remind everybody, we're doing the live workshops every Wednesday now, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we may be on a slight hiatus while we get ready for LaserCon. That might just be 1 week that we're not out, but very excited to start doing LaserCon pretty soon here.
Yes, LaserCon. LaserCon is coming up in June. I almost missed the boat. I forgot to talk about that. LaserCon is going to be a lot of fun this year. It's at Red Rock Casino in Las Vegas. It's a great excuse to go to Las Vegas during a great time of year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kids are going to be out of school. So if you have kids who can stay home alone, then that's fine. If you want to bring your kids, that's on you.
I will say, too, there's a nice child care setup there as well. If you want to bring the whole family along, there is that option there.
Okay, so Serge says Ruida RMA is more recent for Android and not issued by Ruida. So it's probably somebody who developed it independently, and that's why they're charging. On the Apple App Store, if you type in Ruida space ACS, it will come up, and it is free on the Apple App Store. So, excuse me, sorry about that. So again, LaserCon, please come to our LaserCon. Also, if you haven't already, click that like button and subscribe to our, and make sure you subscribe as well. So you use the subscribe button to make sure that you're getting notified when we go live. Because in addition to the Wednesdays that we do these, there's also going to be some impromptu or not regularly scheduled sessions, whether it be quick tech sessions and stuff like that may pop up. So you really, to stay in the know, you really want to click on our subscribe button. And I would, for the most part, I would count on us being ready to do this every Sunday. But again, I'm sorry, every Wednesday. I don't know where Sunday came in. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. With the, like I said, with the exception of when we're going for LaserCon, we're probably not doing it then because all of our production crew and equipment is going to LaserCon with us. And then there may be some other things that will stop us, but we will always announce when we're not doing them on a Wednesday at 2.
We will give you that
we'll
warning.
always put
yeah.
out on our AP Lazer user group and before you buy group when we're not doing them at Wednesdays and 2. So again, thank you for everybody who joined us. I know it wasn't a big crowd. Maybe it wasn't that exciting for many. Some of you may have already figured out how to network your machine or not interested in it, but if you decide you want to network your machine, please follow these steps and use the tools we have available. Again, our tech support team is not going to support your wireless setup. You'll need to do that on your own. Yeah, Serge says apparently can control multiple lasers. Well, it's the same thing with the Rurita ACS. You can also add multiple devices to that as well. So, but anyways, there's a lot to explore when you come into networking. And I feel like once you've been able to go wireless with the connection to your laser, that you're going to have a lot more. You're going to find it very convenient to be able to do a lot of different things and not be tethered to the machine.
I will say I'm very excited to be able to I still want to be in the room with the machine while it's running, but getting that breathing room to just kind of be just a little bit away from it is very nice, especially if you have like a shorter cord. You don't have to be right up there on the machine. It's nice to have that kind of walkability. I'm very excited to actually use this.
Yes, because she's going to be able to, Alicia has a couple machines she has to work with out here, and it's going to be nice for her to be able just to have them going and just wherever she's at in the building, just send the file. Anyways, thank you all again for joining us on the workshop, Alicia and I. We look forward to seeing you next week where we'll be working on, Alicia, can you tell us a little bit what we're doing next week?
Yeah, and get you a little bit excited. We're going to be planning on doing some photos on granite. I think specifically I'm going to whip up some memorial type designs to show you, but you can also just use it as fun, like party, birthday gifts, little celebrations, graduation, different things like that. We like to say that we can engrave, all of life's celebrations, but specifically using some of the granite that we sell here and showing you kind of how different ways to work with it and really get a nice image out of it. I'm really excited for that one.
So I know I thank you all who stayed with us and watching. I know that it's not the most exciting content. Well, it is for me, but probably only me. I hope this helped you all, and I look forward to seeing you on our workshops, on our upcoming workshops. Remember, click like and subscribe and follow us, and not just on YouTube, but also find us on Facebook in our user group, in our Before You Buy group. Thank you all, and see you next time.
Bye.